Hi, boys and girls. We are starting a new chapter. We are on chapter 14. We're going to start with 14.1 today. We are going to read and interpret picture graphs. All right, you survey 14 students about their favorite type of party. The results are shown on the left picture graph. Use the key to represent the same data on the right picture graph. So we're going to look at these. These are exactly the same. The only difference here is how many people each smiley face represents. On this graph, each smiley face means two people like that as their favorite party. So for example, a bounce house party, since each one represents two students, we would say 2, 4, 6 students like the bounce house party. Only 2 students like a costume party. 2, 4, we count by twos, 2, 4. 4 students like a pool party, and only 2 students would want a skating party. So we're going to put this same information onto this graph, except now each smiley face is only 1 student. Since we already wrote them out here, instead of just drawing the 3 smiley faces, I have to draw 6, since each one represents 1 student and 6 of them like the bounce house. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could just draw the circles or make little smiley faces, but there would just be 6 here. 2 like a costume party, so since it's for 1 student, I have to draw 2 of my smiley faces. 4 students like a pool party, so 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then the skating party, only 2 students like that, so 1, 2. If you were to ask one more student to name his favorite type of party, and he chooses a pool party, how could we represent that on the graph? So if we look at the pool party, and we want to represent this on each graph, and 1 student likes the pool party. This one, it's easy. Well, 1 student's 1 smiley face. So we add a student to the graph. Okay, now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students that like the pool parties. But when we go on this one, well, 1 smiley face is 2 students. So we'd say, how can we represent that here? Because if I draw another smiley face, that means 2, 4, 6 students like it. But that's not true. We know 5 students like a pool party. So if we want to change this to 5, we're going to draw half a smiley face, which I know seems weird. But if we draw half, we have 2, 4, and then 5. Because if you look at what half of 2 is 1. So that represents 1. All right, we're going to go to the next page. I believe I left my clicker over here. Go. All right. A picture graph shows data using pictures or symbols. The key of a picture graph gives the value of 1 picture or symbol. The value of 1 picture or symbol can be greater than 1. Use this graph to answer the questions. So this graph is showing how many forests are in each state. If we look at the key, 1 tree means 2 forests. Half of a picture or symbol represents half of the value of the whole one. So if you have half of a tree, it represents 1. So if each one represents 2, I'm going to count. Idaho has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, just to give you an idea. So there's 12 forests in Idaho. Okay. How many national forests are in Arizona? Well, 3 trees would be 3 times 2, because we have to count by 2s, which would mean Arizona has 6 forests in total. There are 6 national forests in Arizona. How many national forests are in Colorado? Well, we have 2 full trees, which means 2, 4, so we're counting 2 times, which equals 4. And 1 half tree represents 1 forest. So if we have 4 plus 1, because that half represents 1, That means Colorado has 5 national forests. So if we were to check that, 2, 4, 5, because half represents 1. All right. Use the graph to answer the questions. How many students chose dog? Well, let's look at our key first. 1 smiley face equals 10 students. So if I were to count by tens, 10, 20, 30. So 30 students chose dog as their favorite pet. You have to look at the key. How many students chose fish? Well, each one represents 10. So 10, now I have half a 1. So that would be 10 plus whatever half would represent. Well, what's half of 10? If we cut 10 in half, that's 5. So 15 students chose fish as their favorite pet. You have to look at this key in order to answer the questions correctly. All right, that'll be it for 14.1. We will say goodbye to the fishies. So, bye fishies. Bye guys.